All right, now let's get back to work on this. For one thing, I really don't like the back of that just being completely sheet metal. I don't know if this is gonna make it worse. I got these Dimple Dies. I'm gonna use a small one, and I'm just gonna put 5 holes in there that I'm going to dimple die just to kind of add some effect to the back, just because it just looks so plain and boring. So I got my holes, got my dimple die. Gonna use this portable press to dimple it. I'm gonna have the dimples going in where sometimes I go out. And release. Just enough to get it out. Whoops, dropped the die. Yes, that should look all right. That just breaks it up so it could collect dust. Now that I think about it, I almost should have went dimple out. Would have gave a little bit more depth, but oh well. Buddy, how's it going? Hey, you're starting to feel a little bit better. A few more days to get your sensor put in. Hopefully we can drop your dosage. I'm pretty sure we will be able to. Got Tomcat this new water dish he really likes. Has like a little pool of water at the bottom and then constant flow. I got Tomcat into eating chicken now. So for a nice healthy snack, boil the chicken, let it simmer for like 10-20 minutes. Flake it off into like little slivers, shred it, and then put it in a bowl, a little bit of water. Healthy snack, he loves it. It's a nice healthy snack. The poppin'. What the hell that is? Jesus fuck. Now that was a rookie move. For a person used to have a class 1 license, I should know better. Always do a walk around before you drive your vehicle. And I failed. And I was like, what the frig, what the frigate? You know, I just started driving a little bit, touched the brakes, and bang. I thought, is that rear tire seizing up? Nope. Nope, it was a tire carrier. So I changed my mind once again. I'm actually going to build the slider on the frame now instead of underneath. I didn't want to, and probably a million people have said it, but underneath is just going to cause a whole shit ton of issues. There's a reason why they built them on the side of the body. I just didn't want to, but I'll just have to deal with it. I rigged up something. It's not ideal, but it'll have to work. Just preheating the part now. Take this out. Place it in the oven. Yes, and it's gotta be smoking hot. Got the lights in it. The finish didn't turn out as nice as I wanted to, but a lot of that is your surface prep, right? If you guys would have noticed, I didn't have all the mill scale powder art sand blasted off because the little sand blaster I got wasn't really doing a good job, and spending forever doing it and wasn't doing sweet fuck all. So I just said screw it, and now this is kind of the after effects. So if you're doing any powder coating, it's like doing painting. You got to make sure that your surface will definitely tell. Like you could see You can see where I sanded with the abrasive on the sides and stuff on the welds. I just took it all apart. I'm not happy with it the way it looks. So I just took my orbital sander to it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to Bondo that roughness, and then I'm just going to spray it black. That was bugging me. That was really bugging me, all that roughness. Found my little can of Bondo. Have to mix it up a little bit. This looks like it's getting a little bit weird. All right. Start filling some of that crap in. I also want to maybe fill that seam in too. If I fill that seam in, it's going to give a smoother appearance. Be a little bit more work sanding her down, but the end product will look way nicer. That way when people look at it, so to speak, they're not going to be like, fuck man, guy should have just spent a couple extra minutes cleaning her up. Let's let that set up for an hour. Should be good now. I'll just sand it out back. Gonna use the DeWalt with a P60 pad first. I guess if you're gonna use this, you should line up the circles. Why don't I have any power? What's over? What's happening? Now that I got the roughness out of it, I got this small orbital. It's got a really fine pad. I got about a quarter of a can left, so I'm hoping I can spray this and somewhat blend it in. Ran out of paint, but that looks 100 times better. So I just came outside, reassembled it, put the lights back in it, doing the body fill on the seam there, sanding it down, painting it. I think you'll agree it looks 1,000 times better now without having that seam that goes around. So now I'm just going to do the final touches here. The way these lights are, the black is a positive, white is the ground. So going in groups of 3 lights to go solder here, and then these 2 will be soldered on those connections, heat shrink. Hopefully that should work out. All the lights have been tested, so I know they work. So I'm using the TS100 soldering iron, like I said many times before. It's the best soldering iron, in my opinion, in the market. Heats up really quick. It's cheap. Runs off 12 volts. Digital readout, adjustable temperature. What more can you ask for? So in order to heat shrink this properly, I need to bring 2 pieces of the shrink wrap down now, and then seal them up. Otherwise, when you solder the next leg on, you won't be able to seal those ones. Tape these wires up. That'll help prevent any vibration, so to speak. Oh crap, before I put this cover on, I should anti-seize all those little screws. You know, when you're running stainless in an insert, you're asking for trouble. So I just got the 12-volt power supply hooked up. Give it some power. There we are, lit up. Nice. So now I'm gonna mount this on the back using the 2 3/8 slots that are supplied. Anti-seize, of course. So the factory rubber grommet didn't fare out so well, so I'm just replacing it with another one. I'll just run these wires through. So now I gotta test for power. I'm sure this white wire is the brake one. So what I did is I just hooked up the power probe to my 12-volt power supply, powered it up, and then I hooked the probe up to this white wire right here, which means I'm gonna have to open up the window, and then press the brake inside the vehicle and see if this thing beeps. So I'm not getting anything. So I didn't hear anything, so I'm gonna lock the brake pedal. Pushed up the seat, used a hammer. Brake lights are on. Let's test these. So I'll do this the old-fashioned way. Get out the meter. And this bottom one, which is the white wire, is positive. Interesting, the power probe hooked up to a different power source other than your vehicle. Doesn't work properly, or doesn't work as it should, which is interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind. I terminated these wires and I just left them hanging. I thought for sure I taped up the end, but I'm quite surprised that they didn't ground out. So I'm running my wire at the absolute furthest distance that this door or swing out carrier can go. So now I'm just going to zip tie. It would be nice if I could just run the wires inside the body, but I don't want to be drilling holes and a whole bunch of other crap. Pro tip, anytime you're working with zip ties, always use flush cuts. That way it cuts it off flat, because zip ties, if there's an edge, are like a razor blade. Everything's wired up, everything's connected. Now that project's taken care of, I'm gonna work on the doors next that were dropped off, replace the door handles. All right, get the Jeep outside. Fedora wants to go for a light 4x4 trip next week after he gets his gears in. Might have to take the Jeep out for a little rip as well. Fedora's girlfriend dropped her doors off for me to change out the hinges. The problem is that this one right here, I think I'm getting her to go now, is that it's like a spring tab on this side, it's missing, and then this side's half out. So I gotta try to punch that out because it's not being nice. So now something's funky with this. What's going on here? Oh, those are all busted off. Well, that's why those don't work. So now I got the door to lock, the latch, that. So the other lock is out. This is what I mean by it'd be easier if the door was still on and then you just pull it out. That was a quick, easy, dirty job. They're both done. I set them up as best as I could, but of course you can't set up that long lever unless you can physically open and close the door. But I stuck a screwdriver in the side and closed it and tried to open it up and did as best I could, but new door handles are put in. All right, got the Jeep back inside. Doors are done. Third brake light is completed. Take it easy for tonight and hopefully head her out to the wreckers tomorrow to find some parts. They got some more Volvos in. And since they got some Volvos in, it's a good time to go in there and get a spare fan and spare relay control because you just never know. Never hurts to have an extra on stock or on hand because we know what happened last time I was out in the bush. I mean, that connection just came loose, but I'm not saying I'm going to carry around a bunch of spare parts, but special things that I need, they're not easily going to be accessible. I'm definitely going to carry. And do you see the birds? Do you see the birds, tomcats? And are the birds gone? Tomcats, you're starting to resist the needles. That's not good, man. I know. It breaks my heart when you try to fight me when it's needle time. You need the needles. Hey, buddy. I know. We have to somehow work out with the needles, tomcats. I know you're really not starting to like them. And I'm really starting to not like giving them to you. But we have to, tomcats. You have to have your needles. Doms, how can we work around this? Oh, I know. What? You don't want to have this conversation? Well, there's a few people at Pick and Pull today, that's for sure. Scored another fan. This one's different because it has fuses attached to it, which I find is really interesting. Now that I got home, got a closer look at this. This is an interesting design. This is an add-on right here with 2 extra fuses. Actually, piggy tails in. So I could throw in those if I ever decide changing the fan, but I do have the breaker. This is like a 40 amp breaker. So it looks like a circuit breaker. It says 30 amp, 12 volts. Other one is 35. It says Dominican Republic. Now that's some sketchy shit right there. So I'm just gonna set this aside for the time being. I might add it on later, you never know. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see, but that axle is bent. All right, it's motherfucking beer time. Time to shut it down. It's hot, it's gross. I don't even feel like having a beer. Cheers, everybody. Oh. So that settles that. Finished up a little bit of projects. I had a couple other projects. Was gonna do that seal and bearings on the Dana 44 axle, but found out it was bent. So there's no point fucking changing it out. You gotta get a brand new axle. I mean, probably could possibly heat it up with a acetylene torch and then try to straighten it out, but at the same time, the axle is tempered, and when you heat it up, you affect it, and probably just safer all around to buy a new one, unless of course it was a dedicated off-road rig, and that is that. But I don't know, fucking, I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. You won't notice it in video land, but personally I might just take a little bit of a break, just kind of kick back and do a whole bunch of sweet F-all, especially since it's gonna get like super hot. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and on my little time off I'll figure something else out.